Hi, Trisha Reed here, consciouslypresent.com, trauma-informed recovery coach, energy healing practitioner, and author. In today's video, I'm going to continue where I left off in part 1 with a discussion about a few of the ways anxiety manifests, offer some useful tips for how you can alleviate it, and then take that dive down into what is the root cause of anxiety. Of course, there are many reasons for anxiety, but what if you could discover the actual root cause of any type of anxiety? What might that mean for addressing and resolving it? I'm going to talk about various types of anxiety, what might cause it, and then take it all the way down to its foundation. Be sure to check out part 1 of this video if you missed it. So in my last video, I talked about all sorts of more physical reasons why we experience anxiety and chronic anxiety, and I'm going to continue to talk about a few of these physical reasons as well, and also more emotional, mental, and spiritual, and even metaphysical causes of the anxiety that we may be struggling with. So to start this video off, let's talk about living or working with someone who is controlling or who engages in narcissistic abuse and scapegoating, along with our fear of other people's expectations of you. This is one of the most major sources of chronic anxiety that we deal with in this realm. We live in a construct full of people who are battling for energy, and for many, that means draining yours. I'll talk about this a lot more in future videos, but working with a trauma-informed recovery coach or counselor can help to give you the tools you need to deal with the controlling people that we have to deal with in this life. And as you heal your trauma, you start rebuilding and restoring your own energy as you take it back from those who stole it from you or those whom you inadvertently gave it to. You learn how to define, set, honor, and maintain your boundaries, and to honor yourself as you deserve to, as the divine being that you actually are. Healing your trauma from narcissistic abuse and scapegoat trauma is the best way I know of personally to relieve the anxiety that you've been going through for so long. So another source of anxiety is insufficient time, insufficient income, too much work, too heavy of a workload. These are more huge stressors that we deal with in this realm that cause us so much anxiety and also lead to so many of the physical manifestations of disease that I talked about in part 1. As the cortisol and adrenaline rise due to the stress and anxiety, we're more susceptible to pathogens, microbes, toxins, radiation, misalignments, nutrient deficiencies, and hormonal imbalance. Especially as we perceive that time is speeding up, it seems that there is never enough time for all that we need to do, much less for anything we want to do. It's time to get up and do it all again before we know it. This is where it becomes really important to make the time to recognize and prioritize your values, set and honor your boundaries, and heal any trauma that may have caused you to be prone to fawning or people-pleasing at the expense of yourself. This is something I teach in my course. Once you know what your values are, what your priorities are, you can take an honest look at where your time is being stolen by someone or something that isn't in alignment with your values, and learn to let those go. Sometimes, maybe you just need to learn how to ask for help, or how to find a safe person to ask for help from, and how to delegate responsibilities. There's also a great essential oil blend I like a lot called Parasympathetic by Vibrant Blue Oils that can help to calm you and activate your vagus nerve and help you get into the parasympathetic dominant state of rest, digest, and heal. Sometimes it's as simple as taking just 2 minutes to just breathe, such as with vagal breathing or 4-7-8 breathing, before you continue with the heavy burdens that you need to carry if there's nothing that you can let go. A brief pause, the right essential oil, Bach flower rescue remedy, these can do a lot to help you through this anxiety and give yourself the support you need to keep this stress from turning into a trauma. Check out Heart-Brain Coherence from HeartMath Institute as well to help you with this. It's extremely effective. You can also consider taking 5 to 10 minutes to do an EFT session on yourself. That's emotional freedom technique. There are lots of videos on YouTube that you can just follow along with, but it can help a lot to take 5 to 10 minutes to do an EFT session on yourself to give yourself that needed support. It's completely free to do. Next, insufficient sleep, glymphatic system dysfunction, brain inflammation, as well as lymphatic stagnation and insufficient movement. Let's talk a little bit about what happens when we don't go to bed on time, when we stay up too late, too often, and when we don't get enough sleep. First, we need to recognize that our brain has a detox system, just like the rest of our body does. In our body, this detox system is our lymphatic system. It serves to transport the waste materials and toxins out of the blood, among many other functions it serves. And the brain's detox system is the glymphatic system. When we get into deep sleep, our brains get washed, literally washed, by the cerebral spinal fluid. Our brains shrink during this time, and the fluid gets in there in the brain and gets all those proteins and toxins out and drains into the body's lymphatic system. So we need to have our lymphatic systems working well so that the glymphatic system can drain into it. But we also need to get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep each night for the glymphatic system to work properly. When this doesn't happen consistently, over time, this leads to toxic buildup of proteins and other sludge in our brains that doesn't get cleaned out as it should. This causes brain inflammation, along with microglial priming, which makes us much more susceptible to biological overwhelm or trauma. It is a chronic stress on the body, in the brain. Other things that can cause microglial priming include infections such as from bacteria, fungi, and parasites, toxic sounds and frequencies, including EMF, electromagnetic frequency, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and other radiation, and traumatic brain injury, such as if you ever had a concussion. Having brain inflammation is another source of chronic anxiety. To help your glymphatic system to work properly, try following your natural circadian rhythm for sleep and wake times, if you can. Ideally, according to traditional Chinese medicine, our bodies want to go to bed around 10 p.m. in whatever time zone we're in, and wake up around 6 a.m. See if you can get your sleep schedule as close to those hours as you can. Sleeping on your side also helps the glymphatic system to work better than if you're a back or a belly sleeper. Work on keeping your lymphatic system healthy by doing things like dry brushing, getting enough clean, pure water each day, drinking lemongrass tea, taking red root herb or cayenne pepper can also help your lymph system. Get enough movement each day. Take walks. Consider even using a vibration plate, especially if you tend to be more sedentary because of working at a desk job or needing more rest due to metabolic dysfunction. Vibrant Blue Oils has a wonderful essential oil blend called Lymph, which I find to be so helpful. And another one of theirs that I like a lot, also very helpful, is called Fascia Release. Red light therapy can also be very helpful for the lymphatic support. The next item I want to talk about as a cause for anxiety is artificial blue light exposure and insufficient natural sunlight. The world has changed so drastically and significantly, even just since I was a kid. Back then, we didn't have computers and tablets and smartphones. We didn't even have cell phones. Video games were brand new, Atari, as I remember. And they were out of our price range for our family budget. We had to go outside to play, and we had to use our imaginations. And we couldn't wait to go outside into the natural sunlight. Climb trees, do cartwheels and handsprings on the grass, ride our bikes, take walks with our friends, go swimming in the pool, even use bed sheets for makeshift tents and pretended we were off on a camping adventure. Even in the winter time, when there was lots of snow, we were outside throwing snowballs, building snow fort and snowmen, making snow angels in the snow, getting lost in the woods. But we were getting natural sunlight all year round. When we came back inside, we had more natural lighting, incandescent bulbs, which simulated the warm hues of sunset. We had televisions then, but just one big TV in the living room. We didn't have a TV in each and every room like we have these days. And the family would watch one TV show together. And even the televisions back then had tubes in them. There was no LED lighting, no artificial blue light all over the place that we are inundated with now. This overload of artificial blue LED light paired with insufficient natural sunlight is very hard on our bodies and very hard on our circadian rhythms, and it causes stress and anxiety as our bodies and nervous systems have to adjust to these unnatural frequencies. Yes, light is frequency. We are frequency beings. So even if we make the necessary adjustments to spend more time outside in the natural sunlight, we may have noticed that natural sunlight isn't even what it used to be. Even the sun seems more white than it used to. It used to appear with a little bit more of a yellow hue to it. And now it's just this blurry white bright spot in the sky. Can't even look. Even if we switch back to incandescent light bulbs in our homes, which are a bit more difficult to get these days, we still have all the screens everywhere with all the devices, even our appliances in our homes, and the lights used in the workplace, and grocery stores, shopping centers, even the street lights at night are all lit up with the artificial blue LEDs. It's very challenging to get away from it unless we decide to go completely off-grid, go build a cabin in the woods, and withdraw from society at large. So here are some things you can do to help yourself with this lighting situation, to help ease the anxiety caused by all this light pollution. Get as much time outside in the sunshine as you can every day. Get up early and watch the sunrise, and make it a point to go outside to watch the sun set as well, daily if possible, or as often as you can. Get some time outside in natural sunlight in the midday too, as this tells your body what time it is and helps to keep your circadian rhythm balanced. Use incandescent soft white or amber tinted light bulbs in your home. You can still find them on Amazon. Turn off your screens after sunset. Use the nightlight tool on your computer or other device. For at least 1 to 2 hours before bed, turn off the screens. Sleep in complete darkness, using blackout curtains if you have light pollution coming in from outside, to keep the artificial blue lights out of your sleep environment. Consider using blue blocker glasses while you work in front of a computer. And consider also getting a red lamp for red light therapy. Put your phone down and start a new project or hobby outside. If you're stuck working in front of a computer all day, take frequent breaks from it to get up and go outside for a few minutes. You can also give your eyes extra support with exercises such as palming your eyes, resting them, and getting good nutrients for your eyes like vitamin A, lutein, astaxanthin. Foods like blueberries, carrots, and bilberry tea can also help to support your eyes nutritionally, which are so affected by the artificial blue light and lack of natural sunlight. And that brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about, which causes anxiety, which is insufficient time in nature and physical grounding with Earth. These bodies of ours are Earth construct bodies. They come from Earth. They are part of nature itself. When we connect with nature, we connect with ourselves, with our souls, with our very spirit. Artificial technology is designed to keep us from our natural connection with Earth and nature. This causes our bodies to experience anxiety, but not only our physical bodies. This also distresses and agitates our souls, and our bodies feel this. To ease the anxiety that this causes, it's important for us to get back to nature as often as we can. Take a few minutes to go for a walk in a forest, or if you're not near a forest, just sit up against a tree, or lie on the grass, on your back. Take off your shoes and walk barefoot in the grass for at least 5 minutes with the intention of connecting with Earth. Make that connection, make it a conscious connection with Earth. Feel it through your feet and all through your body. If you have to work, is it possible can you take your laptop, tablet, or phone outside to do some of your work sometimes? Think about outdoor hobbies and activities that you can engage in more often. Perhaps even gardening and growing your own food. If you can't have a garden where you live, can you buy a couple of pots to grow herbs or flowers to enjoy? Or can you find another space to garden, such as a cooperative allotment or community garden? If your employer gives you vacation time, take it and use it to go do something outside, such as a camping trip, or going fishing, or going to visit the beach. Use your vacation days, don't waste them. And this brings me to my next point, which is insufficient recreation time, fun, laughter, and joy. Our natural inherent state of being is joyful. We're built to laugh and have fun. The lack of it causes distress and anxiety. What ways can you think of to go have some fun? What sorts of recreation do you like to engage in? Some of us don't even know. It helps to make a list of activities that you enjoy, or a list of activities that you think you might want to try, anything that you have some interest in, and make the time to start with just one. If you don't have people to engage in these activities with, it can seem like a deterrent from even trying, due to the belief that we can't have fun by ourselves, but we can. Look for community groups, maybe like meetup.com, where you can find people who share these same interests with you, and start building a network of people that you can get together with to go do some of the activities that you want to do. Or try one by yourself. If you have pets, play with them. They are a huge source for laughter and joy. Now let's talk about another source for anxiety, and that is the lack of supportive family or friends with common interests, loneliness, and the fear of what other people think of us. Fears of rejection and abandonment, which we try to avoid feeling by often holding back, being out of alignment and integrity with who we are, holding back our own thoughts and perspectives, letting it slide when people put us down or become controlling or abusive with us, engaging in the fawn response, people-pleasing, and abandoning ourselves in the process. This causes anxiety. In prior videos, I've mentioned a few times that the foundation upon which this construct is built is the program of inadequacy, which is coupled with the beliefs in scarcity, lack, and I'm not enough, all of which are coupled with the emotions of toxic shame. This mind virus becomes part of our own subconscious programming. And even our brains are wired to compare ourselves to other people. It's out of a need to feel accepted and have a sense of belonging, because this makes us feel safe as human beings. But when we're chronically comparing ourselves to others and concluding that we're not enough, that we don't measure up, or that we're not good enough, or even that we're too much, even the belief that we're too much goes back to I'm actually not enough. When we're chronically comparing ourselves to others and coming up with these conclusions, this is actually what we are inadvertently telling ourselves, what we're telling our bodies. And our bodies take this as instruction. The body, the subconscious mind, then feels rejected and abandoned by us. This causes debilitating anxiety and fear. We have to learn how to identify this mind virus and stop feeding it our energy. Working with a trauma-informed recovery coach or counselor helps tremendously with this. You start to care more about your own opinions and feelings about yourself. Learn to recognize when your brain goes into its comparison to others mode, and consciously stop that and let go of the fears of what other people think of you. This is also something that I teach in my course, how to go into your own nervous system and build your tolerance for feeling the feelings we generally try to avoid feeling, so that we can stop going into the panic and anxiety that results from these shame-based fears that we've been programmed with. These are not our own shame-based fears. We don't have to keep holding on to them. Now let's talk about phobias. Oh my goodness, we can have phobias to just about anything you can think of, and many things we don't even think of. These can be phobias that we have for our entire lives, or perhaps we just suddenly develop a phobia without knowing why or how it formed. These can cause us to feel anxiety, whether we are consciously entertaining a phobia or just discovering a phobia that seems to have appeared out of nowhere. Some well-known phobias include a fear of heights, fear of snakes, spiders, or rodents, fear of water, fear of drowning, fear of the dark, fear of confined spaces or claustrophobia, fear of leaving one's home or agoraphobia, fear of getting sick, fear of getting fat, fear of food, even misophonia, a fear of hearing certain sounds. In other cases, a phobia might develop following some sort of biological overwhelm or trauma, such as a fear of being alone, when that never bothered us before, or a fear of meeting people, a fear of being seen by people, or suddenly one day you wake up and you find yourself in a panic about getting in the car to drive to work, when it was never a problem before. It just suddenly appears. Many times, phobias develop after having endured chronic narcissistic abuse and gaslighting and scapegoating at the hands of a loved one, a friend, family member, or partner. Behind every phobia, there's a trigger, something that activates it. These triggers can originate from an event that happened in this lifetime, or even another lifetime. Yes, these memories can come with us from another lifetime that we are not even aware of. They can originate from TV shows, movies, music, video games, and other broadcast messages that get stuck in our subconscious. They can even originate from weaponized acoustic technology, AI pulsed noise at the ambient sound level, utilizing ELF or extremely low frequency, dirty electricity, and smart technology, computer, phone, and tablet screens, 5G, and other cell towers and satellites, subliminal messages, all sorts of programming and conditioning from society, and even pathogens such as yeast, candida, fungi, and weaponized yeasts, parasites, bacteria, as well as the multidimensional entities that these things manifest as. Toxins such as heavy metals, which can serve as multidimensional portals, other dimensional beings, and even the field itself picks up thoughts from other people. None of us actually have private thoughts, just the illusion of thoughts in our heads. But most thoughts are not even our own, but rather whatever is floating around in the field, which our brains pick up and decode. And then we think that we had a thought. All of this is picked up by our subconscious. Some of it gets stuck in our subconscious, and we can develop fears and phobias that seem to make no sense at all. I'll talk a little bit more about spiritual and energetic attacks in the next point. Getting back to phobias, these can be quite challenging to deal with as we work on resolving our anxiety. It takes some investigation, first of all, to identify what the phobia is, if we don't already consciously know what the phobia is about. Then, once we've identified the phobia or fear, it takes some more investigation to learn where it originated, what caused it. Sometimes regression therapy such as QHHT or BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing, can be very helpful, as it can help us to access the knowledge of our subconscious mind to give us the details of where, when, and how the fear or phobia first began. Body code and theta healing are two other very useful modalities that help you to dig into the subconscious mind to learn more about where, when, and how the phobia began. Then we need to work on resolution. There are lots of things that can help with this, such as Bach flower remedies. Mimulus is a great one for helping to neutralize and face known fears and phobias, and aspen can help to calm fear and anxiety when the reason for it is unknown, while you work on drilling down to the root cause of it. Modalities such as EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, TFT, Thought Field Therapy, and acupuncture can help tremendously. Essential oils such as Parasympathetic by Vibrant Blue Oils or I Am Enough by Restore Hope Oils can be helpful as well. And of course, working through unresolved trauma. Healing your trauma is, in my experience, the most important thing you can do to end fears and phobias. EMDR is a great one as well, and modalities that address the stuck emotions and trauma in your nervous system and your body are ideal, such as somatic experiencing with parts work, such as IFS, internal family systems, both of which I also teach in my own course. Journaling is a very helpful tool to use as well, along with therapy with a qualified counselor or coach. Now let's expand on this point a bit regarding how spiritual and energetic attacks can cause us chronic anxiety. I mentioned in the last point many ways in which we experience these sorts of attacks, between technology, microbes, pathogens, toxins, heavy metals, broadcast messages, subliminal commands. But I want to go a little bit further into this now because there are so many other ways in which we are spiritually and energetically attacked, which cause anxiety. These other ways include energetic cords, energy vampires, etheric implants, curses, saboteurs, post-hypnotic suggestions, disembodied spirits or ghosts, our own thought forms actualized into tulpas and egregores, demons, false light entities, astral parasites, other interdimensional beings and entities, chakras, portals, and even other physical human beings who psychically attack you, whether they're doing it intentionally or not. And that even includes ourselves. These are just a few off the top of my head. I also mentioned in the last point that there is weaponized acoustic technology, AI pulsed noise at the ambient sound level, utilizing ELF or extremely low frequency, dirty electricity, and smart technology. Yes, this is documented and proven, and these actually give subliminal commands that we think are our own thoughts. Some people have ears that can even actually pick up these sounds. Have you ever had a fan running at night, for example, and thought you heard voices or conversations coming through the fan? I have. This is an example of how this ambient sound technology works. It creates a noise bed in which to embed the subliminal commands below the frequency threshold where most of us could consciously hear it, hidden within and beneath the ambient noise. Some people hear it, but don't know what they're hearing, and they begin engaging in conversations with it. Schizophrenia may be one label slapped on people who actually do not have some sort of a brain chemical imbalance, but rather simply have extraordinary hearing abilities. This sort of technology is meant to gaslight us, to put us into fear, while using that fear to control us. It is a spiritual and energetic attack. Becoming aware of what this is and how it's used, and learning about it is one of the most empowering things we might ever do for ourselves and our loved ones. The same goes for V2K, or voice-to-skull technology, which is closely related to the weaponized ambient sound technology and often used together. If you happen to be a targeted individual under attack with V2K, the anxiety that you and your loved ones are living with is beyond description, especially if your loved ones do not know that this is a real thing. You can go look up news reports on Fox News, mainstream news, and find it being reported on. It is a real thing. That it is happening to you, and they don't believe you if they think you're crazy and withdraw, neglect, or abuse you on top of what you are already going through. It can be extremely challenging to find the support and help you need to get through this due to the intentionally hidden and subliminal nature of these sorts of attacks and other people's ignorance and unwillingness to face the realities that we're dealing with here in this realm. All of these sorts of spiritual and energetic attacks are insidious and meant to isolate us from our support, from our loved ones, and even society in general, to drain our energy, to parasitize us, and control us through fear and anxiety. The most important thing you can do for yourself is to remember to look for and connect with your eternal spirit essence within your heart, and stay connected, and to know about the tactics that are being used against you. Use every tool at your disposal to keep yourself strong and energized, including microbe and pathogen detox, such as the Cosmic Death Fungus NAC Candida Detox Protocol, eating plenty of good, clean, organic, healthy foods, ensuring that you get enough protein and carbohydrates and fats, eliminating most of the PUFAs or polyunsaturated fatty acids, getting plenty of good, clean, pure water. You have to keep your strength up. Remember, stress turns into trauma when the stress is too much all at once, or when it goes on for too long, or when your body does not have the sufficient resources, energy to handle it. These energy resources include food and water. Microbes and pathogens in your body steal your energy resources, so you've got to work on detoxing them, getting them out of your body. They often also use their own mind control tactics as instructions for you to consume the foods that feed them at your expense, or for you to engage in behaviors and generate emotions that feed them. So it's vital that you work on getting those pathogens and microbes out of your body. They can be, and often are, also weaponized by government agencies, which program them to program you. This is a type of mind control weaponized program. And your best defense in this case is to go on offense, to get these microbes and pathogens out of your body, but do it safely. It helps to also look for support groups. There are many other people who have come forward, having gone through these types of spiritual and energetic attack. If your loved ones and family members won't listen to you and don't believe you, then you need to find another support system with people who do know, who get it, and who can provide you with the support that you need. Bach flower remedies and essential oils, EFT, TFT, acupuncture, body work, and massage, these can all be very helpful tools for you to help to keep your anxiety down and stay centered. Walking barefoot in the grass, physically grounding yourself, can help you to stay grounded. Journaling can be especially helpful as you document your experiences along with your thoughts and feelings, as well as your physical sensations. As when you're being gaslit, it's easy to just start believing that you're crazy. And once you think you're crazy, those who are seeking to control you can take control over you. Journaling can help you to document what you're going through. So if you question your sanity later on, you can come back and see. In some cases, you may want to even set up audio and video recorders or seek help from professionals who specialize in recording these types of harassment and decoding the recordings. Getting the right support can help to ease and resolve the anxiety, help you to remember who you are, and resolve the fears that go with these attacks. Of course, healing your trauma is always the key to all of this as well. So let's talk about healing trauma and how that resolves anxiety. Unhealed trauma. At any point in your life, if you were in a fight-flight situation that wasn't resolved quickly enough due to lack of sufficient resources or energy in your body, your nervous system engaged the emergency brake, the dorsal dive, that put you into the freeze reaction. And everything that was going on in your nervous system at that time got stuck there. This means that you may have a fight or a flight reaction stuck in your brain and nervous system. And so when you get a trigger that reminds your brain and nervous system, reminds your body of what happened before when it went into freeze, that fight or flight reaction gets engaged, while the fear of being overwhelmed by it activates your specific coping mechanisms and survival strategies. This can show up in a whole lot of different ways, from how we deal with ourselves and other people, how maybe we become irate, combative, or defensive if we have a stuck fight response activated, or how we might cope by finding some way to distract ourselves or escape if there's a flight response engaged. We might experience physical symptoms like jitters, racing heartbeat or palpitations, restless legs, or any other number of physical symptoms that we attribute to anxiety when we have a stuck, repressed, or suppressed fight or flight reaction happening in our nervous system due to unhealed trauma. And finally, the last item I want to address today regarding the things that cause anxiety is the fear of death, pain, and the fear of the unknown. These fears can preoccupy us and put us into a state of anxiety whenever we consider doing something new or being spontaneous, for example. The fears can be crippling and cause anxiety. In fact, these fears are so big that we mostly believe that these are the root fears behind every fear we have, especially the fear of death. But what if I told you that even these fears sit on top of something even deeper? I'm going to get into that in just a minute when I take you down into the deep dive of what's beneath all our fears and anxiety, the root cause of it all. This has been quite a list of reasons why we have anxiety that I've gone through in these two videos, part 1 and part 2. And it's important to recognize them so that we can have a starting point. But ultimately, what's at the root of any one of these? Is it possible that we can dig down to one ultimate foundational issue and resolve that? Is it possible that the anxiety might be resolved by addressing the very core of it? Yes, it is. That doesn't mean there won't be layers to address too, especially in the cases of the physical health issues or in cases of chronic exposure to narcissistic abusers and scapegoat trauma. There are changes that will need to be made, but these changes are easier to make when we've addressed the root cause issue at its very core. So let's ask the question, ultimately, just what is anxiety? Well, the way I see it and the way I address it is that anxiety is the fear of feeling that which we do not want to feel. We have to remember that it is the physical body in this realm that is the feeler. It's not the conscious mind that feels. It is the body-mind complex, including the physical layer. Your physical body is what feels. The body-mind complex includes your subconscious mind and holds on to everything for you until your conscious mind takes care of resolving it. That's not to say that many things aren't taken care of subconsciously, because they are. But typically, the things that cause chronic anxiety are things that are being communicated by your body, which is your communicator, to your conscious mind for resolution. That's why it won't go away until you consciously resolve it. There are times when things can also be resolved in dreams, things that have eluded you in waking life, and this is why it helps to also practice dream recall as much as you can, and work on learning lucid dreaming techniques, daydreaming, and consciousness explorations through safe meditation techniques. So let's talk about the root cause issue behind our anxiety. It's all about energy, and specifically, the lack of energy. Energy is the resource that our bodies need, which is being drained. So we need more energy, resources. Think about that word for a moment. Resource. Source. We need to resource ourselves, and we do this by reconnecting with our true self, which is our spirit essence, which is our true source of life. Resource. The root cause issues of anxiety come back to the foundational mind virus, as I call it, inherent to this realm that we're in, this earth construct. This construct has been built on a consumption theme because this realm has been invaded and controlled by parasitic entities who have no source of life but us. Thus, we become their resource, their energy supply. Their foundational belief is in inadequacy, lack, scarcity, inadequate energy. They must feed on us. This means that they drain our energy. The programmed belief that we have installed in our subconscious because of this is, I am not enough. Other programs go with this, such as there is never enough. Fill in the blank. Time, money, energy, resources, support, love, peace, joy. Whatever it is, there's never enough. Unless, of course, it's energy vampires, abuse, control, all the things the parasitic controllers use. Plenty of that, isn't there? The inadequacy program and the I'm not enough beliefs are coupled together with the emotions of toxic shame. This is the foundation that this construct is built on, as well as the foundation upon which our every fear is built. Even the biggest fears we have, such as the fear of death, the fear of pain, the fear of the unknown. Sitting under those fears is the belief, I'm not enough to handle this. The fear of annihilation is the belief in our own inadequacy, and it's based in the Maya, the ignorance that is inherent to our amnesia, our forgetting the truth of who and what we actually are, eternal source of life, eternal spirit. And there is no inadequacy, lack, or scarcity at our core. The shame, the toxic shame we feel, is in the forgetting of who and what we are, and our true power, while parasitic invaders gaslight and feed on us. That's the actual toxic shame we feel, while we continue to believe in the inadequacy, the lack and scarcity that they've programmed us with, along with the belief that we're not enough. So learning how to deal with our fear of feeling these emotions of toxic shame and inadequacy, and learning how to embody the truth of who you truly are, which is I am enough, through trauma healing, is how you address the root cause of the anxiety you might be dealing with. Understanding that you are being drained, parasitized just by being here in this realm, helps you to know that there is not something wrong with you. You're not imagining it. You're not crazy. And you are far from being alone. And you can do something about it. Remember, overwhelm or trauma happens when you do not have sufficient resources, support, and energy to deal with the drain that is happening on your body. When you heal your trauma by recognizing what is draining your energy, taking your energy and resources back from that which has been draining you, and replenishing your own energy stores from the space of your true spirit, essence, your divinity, and learn how to face your fears, which is ultimately the fear of feeling what you don't want to feel. You resolve your anxiety. What is the fear that most people think we're all ultimately afraid of? People say that the fear of death is what the ultimate fear is underneath everything, but I disagree with that. Even the fear of death has a deeper fear beneath it. What fear might that be? Well, that's the fear of overwhelm. Whether it's the fear of being overwhelmed by pain, or the fear of being overwhelmed by the unknown, the great beyond, what happens after death, fears of hell or purgatory, fears of judgment, fears of annihilation and no more me, nothingness, or getting reincarnated into a tyrannical AI singularity from which there is no escape. Whatever it is, it still comes back to the fear of inadequacy, doesn't it? The fear of I'm not enough to handle this, whatever it is. The fear is ultimately of forgetting ourselves, because we have forgotten our true selves in this construct. But we can reconnect with our true self while we're still here right now, and start to reintegrate all that is us, and let go of our illusions of inadequacy, along with the toxic shame and beliefs we were sold for our energy, and all the fears that go with it all. I find somatic experiencing to be the most effective way to do this, especially when combined with EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, or TFT, Thought Field Therapy, meridian tapping techniques, and inner parts work such as IFS or internal family systems. I utilize these in my course, which you can learn more about at my site, consciouslypresent.com. Additionally, addressing your physical health is of vital importance, making sure to prioritize a metabolically correct eating plan, getting plenty of natural sunlight, especially at sunrise and sunset, and minimizing the toxic fake blue light we're inundated with in this society, with all of the screens and LED lights lit up everywhere all the time. Get enough clean, pure, fresh water each day. Prioritize your sleep. Follow your circadian rhythm as much as you can, ideally between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. in whatever time zone you're in, or as close to that as you can get your sleep. Make your physical movement something cherished and fun. Spend time with emotionally healthy and supportive friends and family members, and limit your exposure as much as you can to those who are controlling and abusive. Do healthy detox protocols such as the Cosmic Death Fungus NAC Candida Detox to get the parasitic yeast, fungi, and parasites along with their larvae and biofilms out of your physical body. Make time to practice your own consciousness explorations, such as through safe forms of meditation and lucid dreaming techniques, and intuition development as often as you can. Start getting in touch with your spirit essence, which is enough, which is eternal, and is who and what you truly are. And practice embodying this true self that you are beneath all the layers of the distortions and overlays that are inherent to this earth construct. Take your energy away from the illusions and remember who you are. As you embody more and more of your true spirit essence, you find that making the changes you may need to make become easier, a bit less scary, and your anxiety begins to dissolve. Thank you so much for taking some time to be here today and listen to my video. Please share your questions and comments below. Hit the like button if you like what I shared here, and subscribe for more. And please also share with others who you feel would benefit from this information. Until next time, remember to breathe. Remember, you are not alone. Remember, you are more powerful than you know. And have a wonderful day.